Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I will be doing a quick video, hopefully a quick video on how to read your human design body graph. So I know personally when I came across human design, I was like, what is this? How do I make sense of this? So I hope this video gives you some clarity into how to read your human design body graph. I mean, human design is something that has completely changed my life. It's this channeled body of knowledge that's telling you that you are okay the way you are, and it goes down to such a deep soul level and speaks to your soul, where it tells you pretty much all these things you kind of knew about yourself at such a deep level. And here is someone that is telling you that it is okay for you to be that way, because that is where your power is, whereas everyone else around you has been telling you that this is where you were wrong. Human design is telling you that no, this is who you are, and these are your gifts, and this is how you are actually designed to be and you're supposed to be. So that is where the power is, and that is why I absolutely love human design. To me, human design is a map. It's a map that gives you a map of who you are. Right now, it gives you the place of your highest potential that lies in your design. And then it tells you here, here's a map, go be your highest self. So that's what human design does for you. And then you can use whatever tools you want to get there. I use a bunch of different tools depending on what part of my design do I want to focus on, but you can do it however you want. Some of the big practical applications of human design, especially in the beginning, is to master your type, your strategy, and authority. This is the basis of human design. Once you master that, you do not need to go much deeper. You can choose to if you want to. I mean, I go very deep into my human design, but again, if it feels too complex, you don't really have to. But as long as you really look into your type, your strategy, and your authority, those are those big chunks of area that you have been looking for outside of yourself your whole entire life. When I talk about type, it's whether you are a manifestor, generator, manifesting generator, projector, reflector. That's going to give you a lot of validation into the person that you are. So for me, for example, when I found out that I was a manifesting generator, it was like a weight was lifted off my shoulder, because I finally realized that it was okay for me to be multi-passionate. It was okay for me to have interest in so many different areas. If you go to my blog is all over the place. I write about a whole bunch of things, and before I thought that something was wrong about that, but it's not. It's just the way I am. I'm designed to be that way, and I cannot be any other way. It would be very artificial of me to be any other way. So it really gives you that map into your authenticity in a way. And then your strategy is going to be how you're supposed to take action. So one of the things that I used to do a lot is I would initiate things, and that's what we're always told, right? We're always told, here, go initiate, take action. And that does not work for most of us. For 90% of people, that doesn't work. The only people who can initiate on their own are manifestors, and they're just 8 to 10% of a population. So most of us are not designed to be that way, yet we are taught to be that way, and therefore when we are that way, we are met with resistance because we're not really supposed to initiate. That's not right for energy types. So that's where mastering your strategy comes into place, because when you realize what the right strategy for your type is, things finally fall into place. You do things, you respond to things, or you take up an invitation on things, you put things into motion, and you're met with a lot less resistance, and your energy is truly honored to the point where it doesn't feel like you're just throwing stuff at wall to see what sticks. Rather, you're actually doing things in a way that's right for your energy. The next most important part of human design is your authority. Your authority is your internal decision making, how you make decisions. In the world that knows a lot about chakras, if you're spiritual, you likely have been told that you're supposed to connect with your intuition and then make a decision. It doesn't tell you how to make that decision, or whether that intuitive action is right for you or not. And this is the part that I struggled with the most. The chakra system was accurate for us a while back. What has happened is that over years we have evolved into 9-centered beings. So the 7-centered map, it does not really work for us the way it used to before. At that time, we were supposed to make decisions from our head, but that is no longer the case. Hence, all this teaching about being grounded and so on, it is because you're supposed to be in your body, not in your head, when you make decisions. And this is why human design is so powerful, because it actually teaches you what is the correct way for you to be in your body when you make decisions. One of the things I remember telling my daughter is, hey, don't overthink it. Just make a decision. Whatever you feel in your body, that's the right decision for you. And she would have no idea what I was talking about. It's because there was something in her design with which she could not make a spontaneous decision the way many of us could. So I guess that's where you kind of have to be careful of where you're learning intuition from and where you're learning all these different modalities from, is because if it's not correct for your design, one, it may not work for you, but second, more dangerous is that it may work for you, but it may not be the right thing for you, meaning you may start taking actions that way and you may not end up getting the results that you so desired. So that's where your authority really comes into play, because it tells you what energy center in your body is supposed to be consulted before you make the decision. Not every idea, not everything that comes to you, or not every invitation that comes to you is the right match for you. The ones that are right for you are the ones that your authority is aligned with. So that is a little bit of a quick background into the 3 most important components of human design. And with that, let's get started into how you can exactly read your human design body graph. Okay, so here I am. I am on mybodygraph.com, and I'll leave a link to the site in the description box down below. I do want to let you know this is not what I use. I use a different site. I'll leave a link to that as well, but that is a paid service, and it's a paid service for a reason. It goes into very detail into your human design body graph. It gives you a view of your transits and all of that. It's kind of more of an advanced look into your human design and connection charts and so on. So I use a different tool, but this is a free tool that you can use, which is why I'm showing, and very well-known tool if you don't know about it already. So okay, so I'm on mybodygraph.com, and here is where you see my free body graph. You click on get started, you click on new right here. And as you can see, I inputted all the information. I put a date, I put the birth time, I put the location of the birth. This is obviously a made-up chart. And I'm going to save this. And then it's going to bring up my body graph. This is what a human design body graph looks like. Okay, so let's talk about the basics of a human design body graph. For one, all these shapes over here, they're known as centers. So there's different energy centers throughout your body graph. The centers that are colored in, they are known as defined centers, which means that you have a reliable way in how you express these energies or how you express these centers. You have a reliable and consistent way of doing it. You're very fixed in how you express it or how you do things in that regard. So for example, this person has a defined G center, which means that they have a very strong sense of who they are as a person, where they're going in life, whereas someone with a white G center, they wouldn't have that. And they're designed to be that way. They're meant to be different people with different people. Sometimes you often hear of people saying, oh, she's completely different when she's with these people. And that's likely because that person has an undefined or an open G center. Then you have these white centers or not colored centers. These are known as undefined or open centers. All these little numbers that you see over here, these are known as gates. These gates can either be colored in or they could just be by themselves. When you have a gate that's colored in a white center, that becomes dormant. So it's not an undefined gate because you still have an activation, but that activation is dormant. Whereas over here in this person's chart, they have a completely open spleen center. They do not have any activations, any dormant activations. These lines over here, they're known as circuits. Over here, you see that this circuit is half complete. It's not really connecting these two gates together. So in this case, for this particular chart, this is still a hanging gate, which means this gate is just there, it's hanging. There's no separate connection to it. So it's not a circuit in this person. This person does not have definition in that circuit. However, you see over here, 2551, this is connected, which means that this is a defined circuit. This is a definition in the person. What happens is these circuits is what will create the definition in a person's chart. So when 51 is connected to 25, that circuit is what is making both of these centers defined, is because it is connecting the two. When this connection is missing, you will have an undefined and open center because there's no connections. So there's two ways in which this G center is getting defined in this person's chart, is through this 5125 circuit and through the 515 circuit. So that is what will give the chart the definition, and that is what actually dictates the type of that person. You will see a lot of reds and blacks on the chart as well. The reds are the unconscious parts of you. So these are the parts of you that you have within yourself, and these are genetically inherited, but you may have no idea that you have this within you. But people outside of you, they see this in you. And that's why it becomes so important to become aware of these unconscious parts of you, because this is how the world sees you. These are the places where you're really supposed to start relaxing and really accepting. This is really where the surrender comes in, is in these red areas of your life. And the black ones are known as your personality, and these are the conscious parts of you that you will know about yourself very, very well. And you will see that over here, you have these activations in defined centers as well. These are not dormant activations. These are active activations that you have. And this is the way you will express that particular center. So there's a lot of different activations for this person. For example, in the G center, this activation right here, 2, 10, 25, 46, 15. This is the way how this person expresses their sense of identity. Of course, there is potential through which the energy in this particular center can get unaligned through a lot of conditioning. That can certainly happen, but it doesn't take a whole lot of work to come back into yourself when you have a defined center, because you just have to increase your sense of confidence in those defined centers for you to be able to access the highest potential of that energy. So it becomes more of a challenge in your undefined and open centers for sure, because you're kind of changing, right? It's this reliable way in which you can express yourself. And again, I don't want open centers or undefined centers to be looked at as a negative, because it can be a sense of wisdom, this area of wisdom, once you understand what your body graph means and what are the areas that you have to look at yourself, and it is okay for you to be yourself. I have many undefined centers, not a lot, but I do have undefined centers. And honestly, at this point where I'm very aligned in those centers, I actually see those as strength within myself, because I know that it is okay for me to be this way. And I don't have to be influenced by the outside forces. I can choose to be when I want to use that energy, but I don't have to be. So there is a lot of potential wisdom to be developed in that area. But the first step in it comes from that inner knowing that this is your design and this is how you're meant to operate. These over here on the left and the right side, these are your planets. These are the gates. So every number over here is going to align with a number, with an activation, with an activated gate on your body graph. So for this person's chart, they have 10, which is their unconscious sun. And you will see 10 is over there. So every gate over here is going to be over here. It's just, it adds a layer as to how they're expressing the energy of that particular gate. So not all gates are equal. Some are going to have a more stronger influence over you than others. So over here, these top 4 gates, this is your conscious sun, this is your conscious earth, this is your unconscious sun, this is your unconscious earth. So these 4 gates are some of the most important gates that you want to look into when you really start digging deep into your design. These are the top 4 you want to consider, especially a conscious sun, because this represents 70% of your personality. So it is a huge one for this person to look at their gate 25. Gate 25 is this gate of innocence. It's this gate of childlike wonder, and it's a very important part of this person's personality. So that's something they want to look into. The other side of what you'll see over here on the planet side is you will see these decimal points, 0.2, 0.4. This is known as a line. So this person, when you really look at it in your body graph, this represents combined, this represents the profile of the person. So this person has a 2-4 profile that comes from this. This is 2 and this is 4. That's the 2-4 profile. This line comes from the I Ching system, from the hexagrams. This represents line 2. This represents line 4. And it again adds more of a nuance to how this gate should ideally be expressed and will be expressed in this person. So in this person, person, this gate will kind of be expressed in this hermit-like energy, which is that of line 2, which is that they are unbelievable at how they express this energy. They have a very unconscious art almost to it. They don't even realize that they're doing it. They do it so well. It's natural. That's what line 2 is about. It's all about how natural this ability comes to them. And one of the big parts about line 2 is that they don't need a whole lot. They don't need to work hard to become an expert at something. They just have to lean into what is natural for them, and the expertise is going to come to them. That's when they're really in flow. That's what line 2 is about. So it kind of gives you a deeper flavor into how you're supposed to express that gate. And with this person, they have a 4 in their unconscious sun and unconscious earth. So that's where they get the 4 part of it, which is opportunist. These names, a lot of human design readers will tell you these names are a little bit off, but really line 4 is a lot about community. It's a lot about gathering that community, friends, family, and so on. And really that is how they're expressing that gate of self-love. So that is where 2-4 comes from. Those are the strengths, and those are how really they can express that gate to the best of its ability. What happens is that when we don't really look at our profile, how exactly we're supposed to express things, it doesn't land the way it's supposed to. So in my case, my profile is 6-2, which is a role model hermit. In my case, I'm supposed to be a role model, which is I'm supposed to embody these qualities. And when I embody these qualities, people start seeing me as a role model. But I was not doing that. The way I was doing it is I was trying to fix problems, fix individual problems, and that is not really how I'm supposed to express my gifts. I'm supposed to express my gifts by just embodying, and then people see through my line 2, my naturalness, people see my naturalness, people see the embodiment, and they start seeing me as a role model, and they flock to me. That is the way I can attract people, and that is what's the most natural to me, right? That is what your profile would give you. It will give you the way you're really supposed to show up in the world. Okay, so yeah, that's, I guess, a high level detail view about what the left side of your body graph means. The right side of your body graph will pretty much give you that information in text. So this person is a manifesting generator because they have a defined sacral, they have a defined throat, and that throat is connected to a motor center. A manifesting generator's strategy is to respond. If you want to learn more about strategy, I will be putting out a video on that, so make sure you check it out. Every type is going to have its strategy. This is how they're supposed to start actions. You're not just supposed to initiate unless you're a manifestor. You can't just initiate an action. You are supposed to wait for certain cues before you can take an action, because that's how you'll be able to best use your energy. Their not self theme is frustration. This is when this particular person will know that they're not being in alignment with who they truly are, is if they're in a state of frustration. The other part I don't see over here in my body graph is that for manifesting generators, we're kind of a mix between manifestors and generators. More generators because our aura is that of a generator, but there are manifestor components within us as well, and we also feel anger. So frustration and anger are actually two not self themes for manifesting generator, which is not over here, but something to keep in mind. Signature for manifesting generators is satisfaction and peace. Peace is not over here, that is a manifestor part, but both satisfaction and peace is where you know you're being your best self. So that is the signature theme of this person. The definition of this person is split. Remember when I talked about definition? Definition is when things are connected to each other. So over here, you see this center is connected to this center, and then it's connected to this center, and then this is connected to this center, right? So there's definition between all of here. You see, between sacral, G center, ego, throat, this is one part of that definition. And then there's a second definition right here between the emotional solar plexus and the root. So, but there's nothing connecting this part to this part. So this person has a split definition, which means their energy is a little bit split. So they'll have that root energy, they'll have that emotional solar plexus energy, but it's going to be disconnected from here. So they won't be talking to each other. They have their own separate conversations going on. With split definitions, the magic happens when you can either borrow that energy from someone that helps you connect these, and then you kind of get that single definition, and then everything's talking to each other and your energy is in a state of flow. Otherwise, it's like what happens with these split designs is, so they have a defined root, which means they feel a lot of pressure to get things done, right? They want to do things. but they may be doing things, but it may have nothing to do with what they want to manifest or what their sacred wants to do. It could just be doing a whole bunch of things that are that is not really connected to what they want to do. So it's kind of happening. It's like there are two separate conversations happening. So it's, I mean, it's not the end of the world. A lot of people have split definitions, and with that, it's like I said, right? Find a way in which you can have these energies connected, either through a tool or by being in the aura of the right people, so that all these centers start talking to each other and you can get the work done in the way you want to. Authority is, this person has a defined solar plexus, so they have an emotional authority, which means they're not supposed to make decisions from an emotionally high or an emotionally low place. They are supposed to be neutral before they make decisions. And emotional authority is technically an authority, but it relies on a secondary authority, because when you get to that place of neutrality, now you're supposed to lean into your secondary authority to make a decision. But I'll get more into detail about how authority and decision making is done in a separate video, but this is just for you to understand how your authority tells you how you're supposed to make decisions. And this is how your body graph tells you that you always make decisions from an internal place, from within your body, from your inner authority, and that's the place where this person is supposed to do it, from a neutral emotional place. And then your profile, we talked about profile in great detail before. This person has a 2-4 profile, and this is their incarnation cross, which is the right cross of vessel of love. Incarnation cross, you can get so deep into incarnation crosses, so that is out of the scope of this video. But the bottom line is that your incarnation cross, once you start living in accordance with your design, your strategy, and authority, it's really comes into light, because it is truly what you're here to do, and that's what your incarnation cross is. Now, with incarnation crosses, without getting into too much detail, there's three major ways with which you can categorize it. One is called a right angle cross, one is a left angle cross, and one is known as the juxtaposition. People who have the right angle cross, you have a personal destiny, which means you're really here to do your own work. Of course, it's by you doing your own work, you can influence others. That is a possibility, but from a karma standpoint, that's not really your role. You can choose to do it, you don't have to do it. You're not going to get dinged for not doing it, sort of a thing. And really, you're here to carry out your own personal destiny. Juxtaposition comes in between right and left angle, which is that you're not really personal destiny, neither are you a transpersonal profile, but rather it's known as a fixed fate, which is that it's a bonus life for you. You can do whatever you want. You're not just here to do your own thing. You're not here to interact with others, influence others, but rather you can choose to do either, or you can just be. It's totally up to you. It's like a bonus life for you in a way. And the right angle crosses are really the ones where it's that transpersonal karma, where you cannot carry out your purpose on your own. You're here to help humanity, and you kind of have to do it. That's a part of your karma. So that is, I guess, a very high level distinction between all these different incarnation crosses. Majority of people will have a right angle cross. Juxtaposition is obviously, it's very less, it's just 3% of people, and the rest will have the left angle cross. So long video, but I hope it gave you all the details on exactly how to go through your body graph and how to read your body graph. And I hope this video has helped you in figuring out your body graph. I feel like human design is such a powerful tool, and it really helped me develop such a sense of compassion for myself once I went through the process. As complex as it was totally worth it, and I hope you find that it is the same way for you. So I hope this video has helped you, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.